Kamaldeen and really got to know him, we got in an argument. And Imam Kamaldeen he was always straight up, but he was a tough character, man. But you had to love him for that. But Imam Kamaldeen was a tough character. He didn't mix words. One thing he didn't do is lie. And whatever it was, he's just going to say it. And so he was up. They were talking about something about genetics, about how we can feel inferior. And I said, well, I don't. He said, oh, brother, you don't know. I can tell you some things about yourself that you don't know. And I said, I don't think so, bro. And we got into an argument. After that, we was close friends. It's funny. And so Imam Kamaldeen was, at that time, was very into this media. I mean, he was into it way before it got popular. I mean, he had him and Imam Farouk, too. Him and Imam Farouk and Imam Rashid, Abdullah. We all knew each other. And he actually had me on their board. Me and Imam Farouk was on his board, Al Baina Productions. And he was just producing. He had Imam Muhammad come down several times. He spoke at Rice University and U of H. Kamaldeen was in that group that was just workers. They made things happen. He was all over the city. He was in it. He was just one of them kind of persons, that just went out into the community and just did the work. And he actually opened a lot of doors. He had professors. He made friends with professors at Rice and U of H, with Reverend Lawson way back in the day. In fact, Reverend Lawson introduced Imam Muhammad at one program that we went to. But he gave, and he was always giving me tapes with Imam Muhammad on it, and always instructing me in some kind of way, and until he had, in fact, and we kept partnership until he had his stroke, until I left Dallas. And he had his stroke, and he shared with us how that was and whatnot. But he was a worker. And one of the things that we did was we established the first Muslim scout troop here, Troop 505. And we actually was trying to bring all the Muslims together. We figured if we could bring the kids together, then the Muslims, then everybody else would come together. And that was, it was good, but we couldn't get as many people to actually connect with us on that. And so we did have it. We did go on the camporees. We had a lot of fun with that. And then we did a lot of other things in the community. We worked with ISGH, and ISGH has always had a lot of challenges. There's never been, even during them days. I remember the first time they hired a sister to work in the office as an admin. She had all black on, everything else, and some of those brothers that just wasn't wrapped too tight, they got all upset because the sister was working in the office, and it was just one thing. But Imam Kamaldeen could always straighten folks out. He didn't have no problem telling them what time it was. And so when they got off wrong, he said, now, brother, you need to get over there and just sit down and be quiet. He was you got to love that. I think that's what attracted me to him, because he was one of them guys that it was no nonsense. He might be wrong, but he didn't, the way that he approached it wasn't wrong. He just, well, I'm not going to take that. It was that type of attitude. And I like that in him. I know that sounds kind of strange, but I like that part of his personality. I thought that was something that was very attractive. So I was here until 92, and I got recruited to work up in Dallas. I wasn't interested in going, but they kept sending people down, and they sent some of the recruiters down here to talk to me, and then they flew me up there, and then they came back, and I just wouldn't even give them an answer until finally they made me an offer that I couldn't refuse. So when I made the decision, actually, because I heard that Imam Yahya had a great community. And when I got there, I found that to be true. And Imam Yahya was given, in fact, I got there just a few months before, we went into Ramadan. And Imam Yahya was given the Eid Khutbah for the greater community. And more than one occasion. And he had a lot of people up there were telling me about him. I mean, from all different walks of life. So part of my reason for wanting to go there, I mean, for accepting it, was the fact that I was going to come into this community that was thriving. And it was thriving. So we got there and we started working with the community, little stuff, nothing heavy, but I felt good just doing, if you ask me to sweep the floor in the masjid, I think that's a lot of barakats in that. I don't care what we do, just as long as we do some work and help the community. And we got involved with the community and worked, and of course we had some challenges there too. There was a lot of issues going on in terms of money and this type of thing, but all in all, the way that you can know that you really love a community or love a group of people is that despite all of that angst, when I see them now, they're still like my family. I still look at them and regard them as like family members. And, and we all have these errors. We make errors and we get over those errors and we come back and we keep going. And that's what I got from them. A lot of that. It has been one of the best things for me in my life was to be part of this community. I don't even know if I can say it and do it justice. But once you get involved, it's like and right now, even when they come down here, I'm fixing to go home this evening and fix Sister Latifah some, what I call my Negro fried rice. I got the story behind that too. I have so many stories. I hope I'm not taking up too much time. I don't know how much time. Still got time? I got a few minutes? A few minutes here. I'm going to give a few more minutes. But once I got there, we actually, at Masjid Al-Islam, we started the Humanitarian Day program. First we started, it was going to be Islamic Charity Day, where we get lots of items and we give out to the people who need it. And we talked to these brothers in Florida because there was an article in the Horizons that talked about they were doing Islamic Charity Day. And at the same time, I don't know if you know, Imam Sadiq Safir started Humanitarian Day out in L.A. And so we just took the two and mixed them together, and we came up with Islamic Charity Day. And we actually served 4,000 people almost every time we had that event. So we would collect. I raised maybe $25,000 to $45,000. We collected over $100,000 in lightly used items. We actually had a team of people who actually made sure that they were lightly used, meaning they were pressed in good repair on hangers. And a lot of that stuff we wanted. That's just how good it was. And if people brought dirty clothes and bags of wet clothes or whatever, those things got thrown away. So we did that for like 6 years. And even now, that still goes on, and that was also a really awesome event, and it brought a lot of Muslims together there because I think if Muslims don't talk about theology, we do better off if we just get into the work and just leave the religious talk alone. We might be okay, but we had Shia, Ahmadiyya, Sunnis, everybody, and people were bringing their families. It became a family event. They wanted their children to see how to serve the community. And even now, I tell people, I say, if you want to see Islamophobia and all this stuff go away, then you need to forget about telling people stuff and just get out here and do the work. When we marched, and we were in the MLK parade in Dallas, and we marched back through Fair Park, you had all these people were giving us the greetings, clapping for us, etc. And we attribute a lot of that to just because we felt the community. We got into the community and we tried to help people in the community. We got everybody. We had several groups: the Muslim Community Center for Human Services, the Nation of Islam's medical group, and one more group do medical exams for all of those folks. They did. We had 40 and 50. I think we had 40 doctors and nurses. We had 2 ophthalmologists, 2 dentists, and they did exams and things right there, and they followed up. And so we actually made a lot, and all of our community too contributed. All of it, all the other masjids contributed. So I don't know. I got a lot more to say, but I just wanted to share that because to me there's nothing greater than serving the community. You serve God by serving the community. And that was one. And I guess that led me to my little tenure with CARE. I started off on the board. I didn't even know what CARE was. They just asked me to be on the board, and I stayed on the board, and I was traveling at that time, something like 100 to 180 days a year, and I always made it to the board meetings. And one day I was talking about getting off the road because my wife was tired of me traveling like that. I was doing that forever, and somebody said, "Well, have you ever thought about being the ED for CARE, the executive director?" I say, "Oh, I thought about it, but I hadn't given it that much thought." The next meeting, they put that on the agenda, Mustafa for ED. so that's how I became ED. I wasn't even trying. They had a vote the next meeting, and I got to be ED, and that's been, I've done civil rights most of my life now. I started off at 16. I was the president of NAACP Youth Council in Gary, Indiana. And, I've been dealing with this issue for a long time, and it's trying, especially as a Muslim. There have been many times when I wanted to go back to my old self and tell people a few things. And then I think, well, I can't do that because I'm representing too many people, this type of thing. But it has been challenging. But the good thing about it is that I'm finding that there are a lot of people, not just a few. There's many, many folks that are on our side that actually want to work with us. We formed at least 16 coalitions since I've been here in Houston, and that's been for 5 years. The last 5 years, we formed six with all of the different civil rights groups and organizations, et cetera. And so I'm thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He provided these opportunities for me to do this work. It's not me doing the work. There's nothing special about me, but Allah provides these opportunities for us. And, and if we accept that challenge, then I think we'll go forward. But I'm extremely proud to be a part of this community, and I'm honored that you all thought I was a pioneer. That you think I'm a pioneer, even though I'm fairly young. But I would just like to say that, that this has been a great honor for me. So, inshallah, let's just pray Allah that we continue to do the work, continue to grow. I pray that Allah will bless you and your families and continue, bless our dear brother, Sheikh Kareem, and help us to continue on this path. Yes, ma'am. Wa alaikum salam. Well, CARE actually is a catalyst for activity, for political, for all types of activity. But we actually a group that we protect civil rights of Muslims. We actually take cases in my office. We just hired an attorney. We advocate for Muslims. We teach Muslims their rights under the law. And we talk about their responsibilities, because some Muslims make life rough for themselves. I had a call from a guy one time that was arguing with people about praying Juma, and the way that he approached it, he made me not want to help him. And so the way that the community can do is like when we have events. And the events are I try to get everybody in the community. We don't discriminate. We call Ahmadi, we call the Masjid, we call the Shias. We have everybody. We don't waste time with what sect, what madhab, and all this. So what we want is, I want to see a good representation of this Muslim community. I don't want to just see one group of people. It has to be a representation, and then we have to be active ourselves. And one of the things we try to do is show people how to be active. Like I was in a meeting just not even a month ago with a group of young professionals, and I asked them, how many of you know your representative where you live? Only one person raised their hand out of 60 or 70 people. And so, there's something we try to get people to be their own advocate. That helps, because it's not like you're helping CARE, it's that CARE is serving the community. And we need the support to do the work, in terms of human resources and financial resources. But our goal is to get the community activated, and hopefully, inshallah, before I die, see some form of unity, so that we can be more effective, so that we can leverage our diversity. You know, there's no reason